Street ka? Ha? Ha?
Well, at this time, Mario Barrios is going to fight Manny Pacquiao in July.
At 46 years old, most boxers have long retired and are enjoying a quiet life or working as commentators. But not Manny "Pac-Man" Pacquiao. The legendary 8-division world champion is defying age and surprising everyone again. He's stepping back into the ring for a high-stakes comeback fight against rising welterweight star Mario Barrios. Inside his intense training camp, Pacquiao is showing that his speed, discipline, and fighting spirit are still strong. Pacquiao's last professional fight was more than just a match. It's his way of showing the world that greatness doesn't have an age limit. Eddie Hearn thinks that even at his age, Manny Pacquiao still has the skills to beat most fighters outside the top 15 or 20 in the welterweight division. Hearn admits Pacquiao's performance has dropped because of his age and time away from boxing. But he says Pacquiao's experience and ring smarts still make him a dangerous opponent. Hearn also points out that, from a business point of view, Pacquiao's return makes sense, especially against fighters like Mario Barrios, who are good but not as elite as Terence Crawford or Jaron Boots Ennis. However, Hearn warns that Pacquiao's long break could hurt his performance and that the comeback needs to be planned carefully.
147, kind of a weird spot right now. We're looking at Manny Pacquiao potentially facing Mario Barrios. What do you think of that fight?
Yeah, I think that, it's a very contentious subject. Like, people moaning about Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao is still good enough to beat most fighters in the top 20 at 147 pounds. He's clearly not the fighter that he once was. You're not going to be at that age. My problem is that he's been inactive for quite a long time. Like, we were talking about fighting him with Conor Benn maybe 6 months ago or a year, and every month or 3 months or 6 months that passes, you do become a lot older. So, I guess there's two questions. One is, should he be fighting again? And at the end of the day, if he's good enough to beat everybody outside of the top 20 in the world, then why not? But should he be fighting for the world title? I guess that's another question. In the commercial world of boxing, the answer is yeah, probably. In the ratings world and activity world, the answer is probably not.
Do you think it's strange that he's coming off the couch and getting a title fight like that?
I think when you've achieved what he's achieved, you've always got the right to do things a little bit differently to others. And with all due respect, Barrios is not Boots, and Barrios is not Crawford. And that's why, we pushed the Conor Benn fight. Conor Benn, his best win is against Algieri or Van Heerden. So actually Pacquiao is a step up, and people were still complaining at me for mentioning that fight, like Conor Benn is Boots, but he still hasn't had those wins yet.
Manny Pacquiao last fought professionally in August 2021 when he faced Yordenis Ugas and lost by unanimous decision. Since that defeat, Pacquiao has remained out of the ring. Promoter Eddie Hearn has pointed out that such a long period of inactivity can be especially challenging for older fighters. While Pacquiao's determination to return is admirable, the physical demands of elite-level boxing are immense. And at 46, regaining peak condition and competing with younger active opponents poses a steep challenge. Still, Pacquiao's vast experience and exceptional ring IQ may allow him to remain a dangerous contender in the welterweight division. His upcoming fight against Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title in July 2025 highlights his relentless drive to compete at the sport's highest level. However, the outcome of this comeback remains uncertain, given the punishing nature of boxing and the inevitable effects of aging. Back in September 2021, Pacquiao officially announced his retirement to focus on his political ambitions, including a run for the Philippine presidency in the 2022 elections. Reflecting on his loss to Ugas, he cited leg cramps during the fight. as evidence that his body was no longer responding as it once did. Despite his deep love for boxing, Pacquiao recognized the need to prioritize his health and political goals. In his retirement announcement, he expressed gratitude for the sport that lifted him from poverty and gave him the chance to inspire millions. "It is difficult for me to accept that my time as a boxer is over. Today I am announcing my retirement," he declared, closing the chapter on a remarkable 26-year career that saw him become the only boxer in history to claim world titles across 8 weight divisions.
2015, remember that one. Pacquiao is now planning to run for president in his native Philippines this upcoming May. But Shannon, how will you remember Manny as a boxer?
Historically great fighter.
Good for you.
The only fighter to win 8 world titles. I mean, Skip, he started out boxing, he was 106 pounds, won a title at, I think, 112, and went all the way up to
108 first.
Went all the way up to 154.
It's impossible. It's just...
I don't believe, I feel very comfortable and said I don't believe we'll ever see that again, Skip.
We'll never see it again.
And it wasn't like he was fighting bums. When you go back and look at Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales and Oscar Larios and De La Hoya and Hatton and Cotto, Margarita, Mosley, Timothy Bradley, Mayweather, Skip. I mean, what do you got to say? He was a champion in 4 different decades.
Yep.
Fighter of the year. First ballot Hall of Fame. He's great. He fought everybody.
Stephen A. Smith shared his thoughts on Pacquiao's retirement in a short video, showing great respect for the Filipino legend's amazing career. He praised not just Pacquiao's 8 world titles, but also the worldwide respect he earned for his humility and determination outside the ring. Now, at 46, Pacquiao is preparing to return against WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios in July 2025. This will be his first fight since his 2021 loss to Yordenis Ugas. Even after a 4-year break, Pacquiao is determined to win another title, adding to his long-lasting legacy. The match is set for July 19, 2025, at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, depending on the outcome of Pacquiao's Senate re-election in the Philippines on May 12th. Barrios, age 29, has a professional record of 29 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, with 18 knockouts. He became the full WBC champion in June 2024 after Crawford moved to the 154lb division. Since then, he defended the title with a split draw against Abel Ramos in November 2024. While some fans are excited for Pacquiao's comeback, others wonder if he can still compete at the top level. WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman defended, giving Pacquiao a title shot, saying rules allow famous former champions to ask for such fights. But this is about more than just a belt. It's about legacy. Pacquiao's courage, resilience, and hunger to compete still inspire many. If he wins, he would be the oldest welterweight champion ever, adding another huge achievement to his legendary career.
In a world title fight against the WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios. Date yet to be confirmed, venue yet to be confirmed, but it looks like it will be in July and in Las Vegas. Yeah, massive news announced yesterday by the WBC president, and you know, it was so out of left field. You know, Pacquiao hasn't fought professionally since 2021. That was 4 years ago. He was 41 at the time, and of course he lost to Yordenis Ugas, the very, very tricky Cuban fighter, convincingly lost to Yordenis Ugas, and in that fight 4 years ago, as I say.
Trainer Greg Hackett did not hold back when sharing his thoughts on Manny Pacquiao's surprising return to face Mario Barrios. Speaking openly, Hackett said that if this fight had taken place a few years ago, Pacquiao would have easily defeated Barrios. But now, things have changed. Hackett pointed out that this version of Pacquiao is far from the explosive fighter that fans remember. At 45, the Filipino legend is not expected to have the same speed, stamina, or killer instinct as before. Hackett described this matchup as more of a money-driven event than a true contest between 2 fighters at their peak. In his view, it's more of a show than a serious competitive fight.
Sound like Pacquiao trying to hit a lick, you know what I mean? But Pacquiao not Pacquiao no more. It's tough to go against him in this situation, because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios. But right now, Barrios, with his momentum, might around and beat Pacquiao up. I mean, not knock him out, but, you know what I mean, beat him on the cards, beat him behind that jab.
Similar to like Ugas, the Ugas fight?
Yeah, like on shit like that. It's a good fight, but it's more of a good fight for Barrios. Pacquiao don't need it, but Pacquiao want to come back, and he want to come back with a bang, so, I mean, why not? If he could make it happen, make it happen. Because I would love, if Barrios was my fighter, I would love to have a Pacquiao on the record. I mean, I would love something like that. And that's a fight you know you got to get ready for.
The Filipino icon is preparing to challenge WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios in July, marking his first professional fight since August 2021. WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman confirmed the match, calling it a great event while speaking to Boxing King Media. For boxing fans worldwide, this is a huge moment as one of the sport's all-time greats steps back into the spotlight. Pacquiao's last fight ended in a unanimous decision loss to Yordenis Ugas. Soon after, he announced his retirement to focus on his political career, including an unsuccessful run for Philippine president in 2022. While away from boxing, Pacquiao stayed active in public service and charity work. Rumors of a comeback kept swirling, and the upcoming fight with Barrios is meaningful for many reasons. Barrios is a skilled and powerful fighter, currently holding the respected WBC title. For Pacquiao, this isn't just a return. It's another chance to make history. If he wins, he will become the oldest welterweight champion ever, adding to his legendary record. This fight also sparks debate on whether top fighters can beat time and age. While some worry about the physical risks, others believe Pacquiao's experience and smart boxing style still make him a threat. No matter the result, Pacquiao's return is already a big deal, exciting his fans and adding another chapter to his amazing career. There's also talk that Pacquiao's fight with Barrios may be part of a bigger plan. If Pacquiao wins and takes the WBC title, he might go after Gervonta "Tank" Davis, one of today's top stars. A Pacquiao versus Davis fight would be a huge pay-per-view event, drawing global attention. Some think Barrios was picked carefully, as he's seen as a winnable but respectable opponent. A victory here could set up a perfect story for a big fight with Davis. If true, Pacquiao's comeback isn't just a farewell, it's the start of one final blockbuster moment. For now, everyone is watching to see if Pacquiao can turn back time once again.
So basically, your interpretation is that the boxing public is upset because they believe Pacquiao's going to beat Barrios, which is going to lead to a Tank Pacquiao fight?
Yes, look around. Look in the Discord. That's what everybody, Pac and Tank, that's being set up.
Oh,
Tank
so,
and Pac.
okay, so they saying Barrios is the setup for Tank and Pac. I didn't see that, but your argument makes sense. If he beats Barrios, there's nothing wrong with him fighting Tank. But the issue is he don't deserve the Barrios fight off of 3 years off and a loss to Ugas.
And that's Crimea River, man. That's what boxing is. But longer deserve a Canelo fight.
If Pacquiao beats Barrios, a possible fight with Davis could quickly become one of the most awaited matches in recent boxing history. The story almost writes itself. Two exciting southpaws from different generations, both known for knockout, power, speed, and charisma, facing off under the brightest lights. On one side, there's Pacquiao, the 8-division world champion and global star, trying to prove he still belongs at the top. On the other side, Gervonta Davis, the unbeaten powerhouse and one of boxing's biggest current stars, is eager to add a legend's name to his list. The fight would go beyond boxing, pulling in not only hardcore fans but also mainstream media and casual viewers. With both fighters bringing huge fan bases and pay-per-view pull, it would likely become a global event, rivaling the biggest fights of the past decade. The matchup itself is fascinating. Both men are aggressive, fast, and able to end a fight with one punch. It would be a classic battle of old lion versus young king. Whether it becomes a passing of the torch or one last stand from a legend, the drama and excitement would be through the roof. Max Kellerman argues that Pacquiao deserves real consideration as boxing's greatest pound-for-pound fighter. While he admits that Sugar Ray Robinson is often seen as the best ever for his unmatched skill and dominance, Kellerman says Pacquiao's unique career also deserves attention. Kellerman explains that judging greatness depends on what you value, peak dominance or full career achievements. If you care about a fighter's peak, Robinson may have the edge. But if you focus on total career accomplishments, Pacquiao's record is hard to beat. He's the only boxer ever to win world titles in 8 weight divisions, an amazing feat. Pacquiao didn't just fight in many weight classes, he beat top opponents in nearly all of them, often moving up in weight and still keeping his speed and power. Kellerman also points to Pacquiao's long career and ability to stay competitive into his 40s, something few champions have done. In the end, even if Robinson stays on top for many, Kellerman believes Pacquiao's achievements earn him a real spot in the conversation.
He also has a case for greatest fighter, pound for pound, who ever lived. Think about, by the way, I don't think he wins that argument. Sugar Ray Robinson is safely ensconced in that position. But Henry Armstrong, Muhammad Ali, Harry Greb, Sam Langford, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker, whoever else you want to mention, put Pacquiao's resume up to those guys.
Manny Pacquiao's peak as a fighter is usually seen as his time at 140 to 147 pounds, when he gave some of the most impressive performances of his career. His mix of speed, power, and non-stop attack overwhelmed opponents who were often bigger, making his legend even bigger. This period also happened during the height of fan demand for a mega fight between Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, with both at their best in the same weight class. Boxing experts note that even though many favored Mayweather in that matchup, pointing to Floyd's natural size and world-class defense, Pacquiao's ability to move up in weight and still dominate top fighters made his pound-for-pound case incredibly strong. Unlike many fighters who struggle when changing weight classes, Pacquiao stayed explosive and dangerous even against bigger opponents. His success across 8 weight divisions, especially during his time at 140, 147 lbs, showed his rare talent and toughness, making him one of boxing's most accomplished and respected champions.
Had a way of ranking baseball players that I came across as a kid and thought, that's really smart. You have to rank them at their best and then also over the course of their careers. Because when you have that argument, are you talking about who accomplished the most or what heights did they reach? What peak did they reach? Take either for Pacquiao. Take his peak. Was it at 140 pounds when he obliterated Ricky Hatton, Miguel Cotto, and then Oscar De La Hoya, though that was at 147? Was that Pacquiao's peak? Because remember, that's when the Mayweather-Pacquiao hype actually reached fever pitch. Oh my God. These are 2 of the best fighters we've ever seen, and they're both in their primes.
Boxing experts have mixed opinions on Manny Pacquiao's possible comeback. Some are excited, while others are more cautious. Promoter Ben Shalom, head of Boxer, shared a balanced view, recognizing the strong pull that boxing has on legends. The desire to relive glory, compete on the biggest stage, and give fans more memories is understandable, especially for a champion like Pacquiao, who has always defied the odds. But Shalom also pointed out the real health risks of late career comebacks, mentioning other boxing greats who returned only to face physical harm and damage to their legacies. He said, "If you have enough money in the bank, you have to protect your health." His words highlight a key issue in boxing, the long-term health of fighters who have already given so much to the sport. While Pacquiao is famous for his conditioning, and discipline, age, and ring rust are real concerns. Facing a younger, sharper opponent can be very tough even for a legend. Shalom's careful stance reflects a wider feeling, admiration for Pacquiao's career, but hope that his legacy won't be put at risk by unnecessary danger.
Thank you to Manny Pacquiao. Unbelievable career that we may never have a career like that again. I want you to take with you, when it comes to Manny Pacquiao, is moments. By taking themselves out of a comfort zone, challenging themselves. And Manny Pacquiao is a dinosaur when it last of a dying breed. We're not going to see too many fighters like this ever again. And Pacquiao is going to be the type of fighter that we tell our kids about. Pacquiao has 20 wins, greater than some of your favorite fighters' best win. Manny Pacquiao has 3 Hall of Fame careers in one, winning legit titles in 8 different weight classes. Pacquiao's legacy will age better and better and better. Times go on and on and on. A fighter like Floyd Mayweather, I think his legacy will diminish a little bit. Salute to Manny Pacquiao, one of the greatest of all time.
What do you think about Manny Pacquiao's return to the ring at 46? Is this a smart move from a boxing legend who still has more to prove? Or should he protect his legacy and health?